Morning, YouTube. In case you've been living under a rock, Microsoft has bought the Gears franchise. My thoughts on that is I'm glad because Epic was just sitting on it, and you saw the last game that Epic put out playing this game. They put very little effort into Judgement. They just tried to rush it out, get some money on it, and they obviously wanted to concentrate on other things. And for a big Gears fan such as myself, I'm glad that Microsoft bought it because Microsoft's in it for the money, and they're going to put a whole lot of resources, I think, into making it Gears again, not Gears Judgement, if you want to call that a game. You call it Call of Duty with Baird and Marcus and Cole in it is what you call it. I'm glad that Microsoft bought it. I hope that they come out with a good game. They've obviously wanted to make this thing into a cash money maker, making it a Xbox exclusive title. So I'm glad for that. They bought Gears for an undisclosed sum. Gears total has grossed $1 billion in total sales and 22 million units sold. I'm really excited about this. There's a lot of people that are it's another Gears game, but I don't think it's going to be another Gears game, and we'll get into that a little bit later. They have full autonomy over the game now. They can do whatever they want. They can put it on the shelf. They can make 50 games out of it if they want to, which I hope they don't do, but I hope that they do something with it and make it a Gears 1, Gears 3 polished and bloody game. Black Tusk is going to be designated as the people that are going to make Gears, and that's going to be led by a guy named, well, I got his name here, Hanno Limke. I think I said his name right. He has 2 decades of experience in gaming. And Rod Ferguson, the guy that's been in 1 through 3 and left in the middle of Judgement because I guess he didn't like what was going on there. So hopefully, and he's going to be a head guy. They hadn't even given him a title, but for 1 through 3 he was a producer, and that really doesn't, that just makes sure that the game gets out on time. It's not anything that controls the aspects of the game, but I think that Microsoft is going to want him to have a little bit of say in the way Gears sees and touches and smells, and they're going to go from there. The Unreal Engine will support Gears, whatever that Gears title may be. Personally, I think it's going to be an entire Gears reboot. I think they're going to reboot it. Reboot is all the rage. Look at Superman and Batman and Tomb Raider if you want to go with a game that has been rebooted. Microsoft's in it for the money. I have no illusions that they're in it for the fans. I think they're in it to make money. Well, what makes money for them is a good game, an exclusive game that they don't have to share with anybody else or compete with anybody else on. I think it'll allow Gears, if they do, when they do a reboot, I believe it's only a matter of time that they do a reboot. They'll be able to go back to the very beginning and probably start with the Pendulum Wars is what they'll probably start with and work up from there. What I hope they do is do a little bit more backstory on all of our old favorite guys, Cog and Locust. You know, you only met Hoffman when they landed the chopper in front of Hoffman in the first one. You don't really know a whole lot about the guy. And Cole, you know that he was a football player because they expanded that on 3, but how did he get into Gears? I mean, how do you go from football into Gears? How do you do that? And it'll also bring him a chance to bring back the old maps that everybody loves. Hopefully not Escalation, and hopefully not Overpass and Blood Drive. I know that's a fan favorite, but they need to redo a little bit of that map. I'm not saying they should make it into what Judgement made it into, which was a power weapon fiasco that's the size of Sandbar. I'm not saying they do that, but a couple more flanking routes up top That's what you need for those campers that can't hold their own in Gears. So It also allows them to start at whatever point that they want. Like I touched on before, they can start with the Pendulum Wars, they can start with the creation of the Locusts, the reason why they're there. They can go with all of that now, which since they started with Gears 1, the Locusts were basically there, and they decided to come to the surface. That's what you got out of the deal, but where did they really come from? That really never was expanded. How did Rom become who he is? That was never really expanded on, and I hope that they go into a little bit of detail of that. I think that would make a good campaign, and I know a lot of you guys aren't in it for the campaign, you're in it for the multiplayer, but there are a lot of people that are in it for the campaign and Horde mode, which I hope they go back to old school Horde. I really don't like the building of your weapons. Yeah, it's fun for a little while, but it just seems like something that's just eye candy for all of the kids that want to play Gears just for 5 or 10 minutes every now and then, not for the real Gears Horde game type. If they don't do Reboot, it'll look like Star Wars, I think. You'll have the old school, everybody loves this, and then you'll throw something on top of it that's CGI'd up, new engine. It'll just look totally drastically different from Gears. It may not be different from Gears, but the visual effects and everything, it'll be like a 1980s film compared to a 2014 film. I just don't think it'll work. I think they have to do a reboot, that way they can control exactly what's going on, and I think that's exactly what they're going to do. If this is a reboot, I hope they go back to the polish of 3, the Horde mode of 2, and the in-your-face action of Gal 1. The blood, the guts, the darkness is what I'm looking for it to be in Gears 1. And also what this means by Microsoft buying it is that they will have the power to keep your beloved dedicated servers on for longer if it's a successful game, and I think that Microsoft is going to do everything they can to make it a successful game, because that's what makes them money. That's what keeps them in business. They're not in the business of putting out a game that they don't feel is going to bring in some people. And you know, that might be the downside of Microsoft buying it, is that they're going to try to get more people that haven't played Gears into playing Gears. And anybody that has played Gears for any length of time and been successful at it, you've been playing it for a while, unless you have a laggy connection and you can sponge everything in the world and shoot a guy from halfway across the map and down him. Yeah, you could be good at Gears then, but anybody that actually has a connection that's worth a shit, they have been playing for a while. They have steadily gotten good at this game from 1 through 3. And my only worry about Microsoft buying it is that they're going to try to bring in more people, which probably means more weapons like the not infamous, people love the sawed-off and the retro, according to how many people play with it now, because everybody's playing with it. One thing that I hope that they do is they go back to balanced weapons. If you're going to keep the sawed-off in there, limit its range, and if you're going to keep the retro in there, make it very, very close quarter combat, not active reload, down someone faster than someone can down you with a hammer burst from halfway across the map. Make them specific distance weapons. Don't make them the same in stopping power and killing power, but do not make them the same in distance. Make them tailored to the game that you want to play. Don't make them a one-size-fits-all game weapon. I hope that Microsoft does a good job. I am a lot more inclined to buy an Xbox One now that they're going to do this. From the reports that I've heard, it's probably going to take about 2 years to put Gears together. which remember how long it took them to put Judgment together and what a piece of shit that was. So I'd rather them just take their time and do it right. I would love to have a Gears game right now, to be honest with you, I would. But I would rather wait and have a badass game. And new features on it, I'm hoping that they do that to keep everything going with Gears. You can't just stay there and be stagnant. You have to try to reinvent a little bit of the game and make new aspects to it. But overall, I think it's going to be a reboot, and I think it's going to be great for the Gears community that Microsoft buys it, because their money ain't going to let this thing fail. Thanks for watching, YouTube.